bitches gonna have to rap now.
Hip Hop Make the Show. Big ups to your guy, Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. You know, they got an HBO. Is it Iovine or Iovine?
It's Iovine.
Iovine, right. Okay, I'm just had to make sure. They got an HBO documentary
Put
that's
some
coming
respect
out
on his name.
July 9th called The Defiant Ones. It's a 4-part series directed by Alan Hughes, you know, part of the Hughes brothers, about their relationship, and it's going to feature artists like Eminem on how they've made this partnership, this unlikely partnership, happen. If you remember in the Straight Outta Compton movie, Jimmy Iovine had that small role or, you know, scene where he's talking about how he doesn't know anything about hip hop at all. But him and Dre end up, what people don't know is that they end up having their own little venture, you know, moving forward. And I think it'd be actually pretty good, man, for someone, you know, I like the fact that we're having like hip hop documentaries now and we're documenting this history.
So sick of Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre.
How are you sick of them? Sick of them how?
Because they're just too smart and they're too rich and they're too geniuses and they keep just coming up with good ideas and it just keeps working. It just pisses me off.
That is true. You know the story about how Dre came up with, or the idea of how the headphones came up with?
Yeah, because they were pitching around different ideas like clothes.
Yeah, originally Dre
work.
got approached with a clothing endorsement, and he said, "Well, I'm the kind of person who wears like the same jeans like 3 times a day." He's like 3 times a week.
3 times a day.
He's like, so why would I want to do clothes? He's like, who wants to dress like me? So he wanted to do something that makes sense. And I think that goes to show you, man, because you remember how in the era of the early 2000s where every rapper had a clothing.
Yep.
You know
Rockaware, I mean? G-Unit, Sean John.
State Property had clothing with it. Like, why would you want to dress like State Property?
Who else had a clothing line?
There's a lot of Nelly.
Nelly had one.
Had
Vocal.
Yeah.
The Apple Bottom did good though.
But he had Apple Bottom and he had something else too.
Vocal was the one that tanked.
Yeah.
Vocal was the guideline.
Yeah.
Apple Bottom was for the females, and I actually did good for a while. And you had Fubu, of course. That wasn't LL
no, but
stuff.
that wasn't a rapper doing it though. They were doing their thing.
Yeah, he was just an endorsement.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just go to show you that everybody can. You got to do something that caters more to you. You know, one person who I feel like dropped the ball was Exhibit, because he had Pimp Your Ride, and there was no reason why I felt like Exhibit shouldn't have had like his name on a car part or something. You know what I mean? Like rims or a steering wheel. Like, I mean, Pimp Your Ride was a really big show at one point. And
Sure.
I just felt like that would have been something to Exhibit. We would attach him to that.
That was a lane he could have just kept moving on with and evolving with.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? But the last Pimp Your Ride episode aired when? Like, what, 08 or something?
I mean, that's still doing Pimp My Ride. It's just not called Pimp Your Ride.
What is it called?
Everything else, because everybody then jumped in it.
That is true. When you watch all these other channels that you never knew that you had, they do have shows like that. And they have a guy who puts on that same type of personality that Exhibit has. Because before Exhibit, nobody really had that kind of personality. He was really good at it too.
Yeah, they took that template and ran with it.
That's true. That's true. Exhibit should get a check for that though.
Nah, but he's not.
He's not. But he's on Empire though.
Yeah.
He's on Empire, and he does movies.
Yeah, he does. He's getting that acting money.
Yeah, I mean, he out in LA, like, you know, he's a rapper who has, you know, Exhibit was. I have a thing sometimes when I see the rappers now that are rapping and that are acting, like Ice Cube, and you see them playing these roles, and the kids look at them not in the same way that we looked at them, and I understand that, but they don't see Ice Cube as once upon a time he was the
They look at him as
nigga you love to hate.
They look at him as actors first.
Yeah, like they look soft to them in a sense, right? Not knowing that these guys just actually come slap you up. Like, literally come to your house, and if you said something, it was like on.
Well, talking about the new age, what you got coming up in the next up mic up?
Well, we got a guy coming out of New York, the Bronx, Stand Up. I got myself an email, somebody telling me I've been ignoring this guy, and I haven't been. I've just been taking my time. But it's coming up in the next up mic up, so don't you go nowhere.